Yeah, well, Winteringham Fields, I think, started about 1989 by a couple called Annie and Jermaine Schwab, who probably took it from an old kind of farming barn house to one of the best restaurants in the UK. So a lot to live up to, you know, when you're taking over someone like Jermaine Schwab, who's been behind the stove, and you've got to go in behind him and try and live up to that reputation. So no, it's always been a very, very good restaurant. Well, I would say the cuisine is a little bit avant-garde, but at the same time still quite rustic in the way that it has to suit the restaurant. The restaurant's quite formal, but not too starched. It's still got this kind of homely feel, as if you could be in your grandmother's front room, but at the same time it's got this kind of formality that you know you're in somewhere special. We're in the middle of the country, so the food has to be quite, you know, consistent with that as well. It couldn't be too neat and too, you know, too starched, or else it wouldn't go with the features that are outside. So it's still rustic on the plate. We don't go into too much about presentation. It's mainly the first most is the flavour, and then from then on, it's an enjoyable experience through each dish. We spend a lot of time trying to get the ingredients right. Ideally, we try and get the ingredients that good that we don't actually need to do too much to it in the first place. So, for example, the seafood or vegetables, the better the product, the less we have to do to it. For example, fish, you know, it's literally just wonderfully cooked and that's it. However, you know, we like to keep local farmers and business. We like to keep local people using us as a supplies. But at the same time, if it's not the best, we have to go somewhere else. So we could go all the way to Cornwall, we could go to Scotland to get what we need to get, because we owe that to the customers to make sure they're going to get the best what we can get our hands on, and we pay top dollar for it. But saying that, we grow a lot of our own vegetables, our own herbs. Our lamb is just over the bridge. We have our own lamb here. We have our own chickens. We have our own eggs. So we get everything as much as we can to get local produce, but it must be the best. We must look after the scallops ourselves in the preparation ways that we've just talked about, but I want them in shells because I know how long they're alive for. I know what kind of state they're in, so it's very important for us as a restaurant that we kind of beg them to send them down the way we'd like them. But you know, the other thing is that they're so far away, so we need to get them imported in or flown in overnight courier. But it just ensures that the freshness that we can get. Again, you know, travelling to make sure we get the best we can. Also, the reason why we would use fish that's a sustainable fish is because, you know, the market demands it, meaning that it's often cheaper. It's often more readily available, it's more consistent. When you start asking for fish that's not like that, perhaps it's a bit difficult to get. So we fit very well into the category of fish that is easier found, and because it's more sustainable, so we'll use it. And do you know what, it's just the same, it's just as good. I don't know why people don't use it anyway. I think a lot of people are afraid of using new fish because they don't know how to cook it, or they're afraid about what's it going to taste like. Will customers understand it on the menu, you know? But I think if you're a good cook, you know, you can cook anything, even, you know, cooking the offal of the fish. Another belief is that if you throw anything in the bin, it means that you don't have the skills to do something with it. So you should enjoy more of looking at each produce and finding out everything you can use from that produce. You know, this kind of season we're using lemon soles, brills, an alternative to something like a line caught halibut or something. So down in the south, you know, when we're trying to get our red mullet or our turbots or brills, they're fantastic. But we've got the reputation, you know, to get the best. And what we do is we literally have a day boat who goes out in the morning, comes back in the evening. On his way back in, on his laptop, he'll say, send me an email saying, Colin, I've caught, you know, 5 sea bass, 3 halibut, 3 this. What do you want? I'll say, oh, send me two sea bass, and they'll be next with me at 7 o'clock in the morning next day. So it's good to have that kind of rapport with people like that. But I mean, around the coast of the British Isles, I mean, some of the best fish in the world. So it's about knowing, you know, how to source them, and rather using large conglomerates, you can use just, you know, the normal old-fashioned way of day trawlers and day boats going out in the morning, coming back in the evening. So yeah.